And we're on, gentlemen.
Hey.
Hey.
Good evening. And welcome
What is going on
to the Four Horsemen podcast, everybody. Livingston Man says we are officially live. I do not see us live anywhere, but he's saying that we're live. And I trust in what the Livingston Man is saying. Livingston Man, do me a humongous favor here, my friend. Could you please roll that beautiful bean footage?
Apocalypse style, four horsemen riding dirty. Death on my left, keep the Glock sturdy. Standing in the kitchen, hunger like a beast. War paint ready, unleash the inner beast. Pestilence drop, spread fear in the streets. Disease hit the block, no dot can compete. Horseman information, skies turning black. Future looking bleak, no turning back. Four horsemen riding on the edge of night. Chaos in the wake, no end in sight. Four horsemen bringing dark to the light. End days marching, get ready for the fright. Four horsemen riding on the edge of night. Chaos in the
Yeah.
So I guess it
what
ended a
had
little early.
happened was it just
That was so Jim.
It started in the middle. It started in the middle.
That
leaving out,
spazzed me out. I was like, oh, what happened?
I know. I got it. Rumble, dear Rumble Studio.
Yeah,
we
I
need
mean, I
you
can play
to-
it again. I can play it again. I
We
think
need
now
you
it
to-
seems to have on.
We need you to do better,
Yeah, play
Rumble
it again.
Studio. Yeah. Unanimous. Send it.
They're like, you want to play this music? I'm like, yeah. They're like, you want it from like the middle? You want to leave out half the cast? I was like, oh yeah, that's definitely, definitely.
Roll that shit, Livingston Man.
Yes.
Take two. Now that there's more of you here anyway. Bonus. Okay. You know what? It ain't me. What are you doing? Why you do this? It won't do it. Play it from the beginning. Here it comes. Yeah,
There's no beginning for you.
He broke it. No soup for you.
Nope, won't do
Four
it.
putos. There's no music for you.
Wow.
You'll see these two on the bottom tier preppers down here. They don't even give me music, I guess.
It doesn't matter how fire
said
we
that,
make
not
the
me.
intro.
Yes.
Apparently, Rumble Studio will not allow us to have it. Gentlemen,
that was just funny.
I'm pissed.
welcome
Freaking
back
this out.
to the latest convenience of the Four Horsemen. I am so happy to finally be back with you guys. We have not convened since before the holidays, gentlemen.
Yeah.
I hope y'all had a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, a quiet New Year, I hope. Not as fanfarish as the rest of New Year's Eve and day around the world, which was a little hectic. And I think if in nothing else, it lends to we need to prepare more. You know, it's not downtime time. It's time to put your foot on the gas and get that shit going. Because things don't look great, man. There's weird shit happening everywhere, without a doubt. If you've been watching the skies, there's drones and all kinds of weird shit up in the skies. The West Coast is literally on fire. It's not looking good, guys. It's not looking good. Transition of power is happening the next couple of days. Fingers crossed for that one. I don't know about you guys, but I'm hoping that things go smoothly and there's no weird shit Wednesday going on. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see.
Or we all could die Wednesday.
It could be.
It's gonna be like
We're really
Wormhole Wednesday.
We've miscalled that 100 and it'll be 109 times we said it would happen and it didn't. So, you know, I would follow along. It's got one of these times it's got to work out. Statistically, you can't just keep throwing chips on the table and not win.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eventually, if you
I'm
keep
saying.
playing the lottery, you're going to win the lottery.
Yeah,
right.
That's the intent here, Mike. You know, we're gonna keep saying it till it happens. Then we can be like, "I told you."
That's right. That's right. I told you so. Hunter says he's been hearing drones over Washington, and that was the topic that I was thinking about today. Is you know, these podcasts are my favorite because nobody knows what questions I'm going to ask right now, and nobody has the answers, and we all get to think them up, randomly. This is all off the cuff. None of this is scripted. None of this. Do you guys know honestly anything that I'm going to ask you right now? What topic I'm going to put up?
No.
No, it's true. It's true. So the topic for tonight is going to be.
Can I say though that I did?
Yeah.
I actually put a bet on it.
Okay.
I got an idea. You know what I think he's going to talk about? He's going to talk about some nerd shit. I was like, watch. He'd be like some ham radio nonsense or something like.
Okay, so two topics. Since you put it that way, Livingston, man, we'll break it down to two different topics for tonight. I think the first one will be your preparedness surveillance. What are you guys running for preparedness surveillance? I know Pete's wheels are turning already, and the Livingston man's wheels. Everybody's wheels are turning. Preparedness surveillance and your preparedness communications. All right, those are the two topics that I would like us to sling around here this evening, and hopefully the audience can get a little bit out of us racking our brains around those two topics. So I would say I'm going to kick it off to the roaming prepper first. And Pete, what your preparedness surveillance, if you are hunkered down somewhere and you're you hear rumors that there's bands of goons coming. Yeah. What is your first choice for preparedness surveillance? Are you getting in the vehicle? What do you think, man?
So I guess it depends what is going on. Because obviously if like a refinery is spewing toxic gas, I may not want to go to the refinery. Since I'm traveling around the area all the time, I'm kind of listening in. Radio chatter is great. CBs, AM, FM radio. We got a lot of independent radio stations out here, like the old school AM with the guy in the conspiracy and stuff. And he actually has a house with a 100-foot tower, like an hour and a half from me. Barring that, my drone. I got a drone that can handle, 20, 25 knot wind. And he's a fat little potato, and I can send him up and literally scan around. And since we're kind of flat terrain out here, I can at least see if something's on fire. I can see it. And then there's old school. I got night vision and I got binoculars. Like if I have to get to the end or get on an overpass because it's flat, there are really no hills here, and just kind of put eyes out. I have access to a couple of buildings that are about 60 stories high. So
that's awesome. That's absolutely awesome.
Of tech and old school, just
I think that's honestly probably one of the best ways to go is a good blend of the old school and the new. The drone is gonna keep you out of harm's way, and if you had to ditch it and not bring it back to yourself to not attract attention, or to throw somebody off and head in a complete opposite direction and go maybe the long way back home where they'll never see it. But that's great, man. I absolutely love the combination, Pete. Fantastic.
On the drones too, it's like the new version of like motion sensor lights. As soon as like you're on some shit, right? There's a drone that's not yours in the vicinity. Everybody's bugged out. Everybody's freaked out. Your plans turned to shit. Did they see you? Who was that? What do they know? Like, your whole plan. It's the idea of just a drone buzzing around is a deterrent. The sound they make is unmistakable and it's creepy if it's not yours, So it's a psychological weapon as well, almost a deterrent in its own right.
Those little guys, after you go about 50, 60 feet in the air, you stop hearing it. It gets lost in the background wind and just general sounds.
Absolutely.
So
I know my
populated area, like around where I live, like I'm gonna hear a drone. I have a DJI Mini 2, and I sent it up on a clear day, and I could still hear it at approximately 700 feet. They can fly higher than that, but boy, you gotta get up there before I couldn't perceive it at all. I had to be like way up there, But like I said, just the sound of it buzzing is unmistakable, and it's a little unnerving if you don't know whose it is.
Yeah, definitely unnerving. Especially for anybody who's watched the news coming out of Ukraine. If you hear the sound of a drone, it's
Yeah.
like duck and run. You know what I mean? Vision.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, man? I know everybody different strokes for different folks. So what are your thoughts? Your SHTF at lookout plans. What are you thinking?
Well, I do old school and new school. Yes,
Mhm.
definitely a drone. I have a couple of them, and they
Awesome.
do different things. Um, the good thing now, this time of the year, because we got farmers and hundreds of acres where you can literally see miles and miles and miles because it's flat. Yeah, Livingston, man,
Fantastic.
come to Ohio. Let me show you some flat land. How many subscribers did we listen to?
And they're gone.
Yeah. So yes, I also have binoculars, night vision binoculars. I've got different types of radios, not only
No
ham
shit.
radio, but other radios depending on what needs to be done. And of course, Old Faithful snoring under the table here, who
He's a good lookout, real good lookout.
yes, he hears things outside that I don't and sounds the alarm.
Yeah, that's a
But
big one.
you know, especially folks in to piggyback off of the drone thing, you can do that while still on your property.
Yeah.
But for me, I have to go at least 50 feet straight up just to get over the trees.
Yep.
And then I can, panoramic view or go down the road or do whatever. But I mean, folks, don't underestimate a drone. That
No.
could be your life-saving eyes and ears.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But
Well, mine doesn't run any microphones on it, so if I get it up, I won't be able to hear anything. But so I've really got to depend on my eyes, and then of course my neighbors.
right.
Now,
So
I've
I'll
thought
share
about
this.
it's cool
ahead.
that like everybody has leaned towards well, you did call it surveillance, but automatically the
Mhm.
drones and stuff like this with creative use. We're all creators here, and we have like multiple cameras, microphones, nonsense like this. With creative use of your stuff, you could make even a shorter term. You could set up with your cell phone, your action camera, and your microphone. You could set up a remote listening post. You could set up a spy cam. You could set a trail
Oh yeah,
cam.
absolutely.
Yep, those are big
Uh,
things.
there are reasons why like video surveillance and stuff, especially with, being able to remotely view it in nearly real time is definitely important.
Yeah. And I even have
the drones really changed the game. Like they're the
do.
big thing. Like get
Yep.
one.
Yep.
Get one.
And I have cameras throughout my whole property that, not only can I see, but I can also listen
Mm.
and speak through them if necessary.
That's huge.
So yeah, old
You need to
school.
learn some phrases in Russian just to freak the hell out of people.
I'm gonna do that. But
Let me take
those
a
are
peek
great
in there.
those are great alternatives, folks. Even if you have a monocular
Mm.
that will allow you to see
Absolutely.
at night. I have a night vision monocular that is freaking awesome.
I have like this
Rob,
old ass one I bought back in like 2002, bro. It's like made in Russia. I bought it at Gander Mountain. That thing still works. One like lithium 1, 2, 3
Mhm.
battery.
Another thing, rangefinder.
yeah, know your
I got a
distances.
Sig
That's a big one.
Sauer one. Actually, Vision, that was the one I won at that clay shoot. I win the coolest shit at these, but
Yes, you
it'll
do.
give me the
Yeah,
angle,
you do all the time.
incline, decline from my standing point,
Mhm.
but also my distance in feet, yards, or meters. So when I got home, the first thing I did, I went from my front yard and I said, okay, the entrance to the subdivision is right down my street. One of the entrances, that's 200 yards. And the cul-de-sac, which faces the wood, the wilderness, is 170 yards. So basically, I'm like, okay, I got a 200 yard radius from my
Mhm.
home to entry points in the subdivision.
Awesome.
Nice.
And now I kind of know, okay, so from 0 to 200 yards,
Yep.
So
I should be
Rob
pretty
B had
accurate.
asked in the chat if we had any good recommendations for binoculars, and I do. I actually have two.
Anything that says Bushnell or Nikon is a good place to start.
Neither of which are very cheap, and neither of which actually have the name that the Livingston man said. My first choice for a pair of binoculars is the Steiner Marine grade binoculars.
Mm.
Those are military grade. You're
Yeah,
got $900.
No, you can pick up a pair of Steiners for about $250 nowadays.
Son,
Back in the day, they
I'm
were
bringing
much
Walmart
more
shit.
affordable.
I'm bringing
Well, then
Walmart
if you're
shit
going
to
to
the
if you're going to
apocalypse. I
Walmart
ain't
shit,
bringing
then you go ahead and grab yourself a pair of Vortex binoculars. Those are extremely good as well. I have a pair of each, and they both have their pros and cons. The Vortex, I can zoom in a little bit further. But the Steiner binoculars, I have to be honest, autofocus is absolutely unbeatable, guys. It's
What are they,
unbeatable.
electronic?
No, they're not electronic. It's
It's not-
standard prism binoculars. They're autofocus. They're called Steiner Predator binoculars because you
Okay,
see like a coyote or a predator would. Your vision automatically focuses at any distance. It doesn't matter where you're looking. You don't have to twist a little wheel to focus anything. It's always in focus.
It's crazy.
So yeah, it's incredible technology. And if you guys can pick up a pair of Steiner autofocus binoculars, I highly recommend you do it. They are incredible. Scott Smith, welcome from the Pacific Northwest.
Good to
Also,
see you,
keep
Scott.
in mind a good rifle scope. Like I put a Nikon
Yeah.
bullet
Yeah,
drop
absolutely.
scope. You can dismount it if you need to, so you're not pointing a rifle at someone because that gets attention.
I was just
And-
about to go there.
Yeah, you can
And
dismount
rules
it
of
with
engagement being what they are. Like I was
Right.
just
disconnect and just use it as a monocular, much like Trent's talking about.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you could do that from inside your vehicle, so you don't even have to leave your vehicle.
Yep, that's a
You
big
can
one.
go and look, scan, and decide, well, do I need to get the hell out of here, or should I wait and see what's going on? So
they do got them like digital rifle scopes. They got the range finders and the all that stuff built into them too. So,
Yeah,
here's
those-
another thing.
Those are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Optics are a great option, right? Because they let you see farther with more precision, and in some cases add statistics to what you're looking at, which way
Yeah.
you're looking, the temperature, the wind. Like they got the scope do all the work for you these days.
Yeah, distance, everything, day
As
or
Pete
night.
points out, it doesn't necessarily have to be mounted to a weapon system to still be useful. Certainly less
Absolutely.
threatening.
I think spotting scopes are a great idea for folks, especially if you're in the flatlands, like you, Trent. A spotting scope would be great, especially in a high location where you can
Mhm.
see great distances. Maybe even a small powered telescope if you really wanted to look out there. You know, like one of those little kid
Right.
ones that you see for $20.
Yep.
They have their place, man. We had a fire here not that long ago, and there's some hills a ways from me on the other side of the lake.
Yeah.
And with
Mhm.
my little tripod, I could look from the kitchen counter and see the fire trucks coming and watch the guys get out of the trucks and run around up there. And that's probably a couple miles away. So
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
cool to be able to see that with the naked eye from here.
What was that brand you said of rangefinder, Mike?
Oh, binoculars, I would say Steiner.
binoculars.
Steiner. I went to Optics Planet, which we're affiliated with, and I picked
Yep,
myself up
same
a
here.
pair of Steiner Predator binoculars, and I did manage to pick up one of those digital scopes too. Yeah, I gotta still play
Nice.
with that thing and figure it out. It's a lot of work to get one of those things dialed in, man. And I got to be honest, I felt really weird plugging my scope into the wall to charge it. Felt really weird.
Ah,
The future's
Nice.
now, old man.
It really is.
It
It
is.
really is.
Let the
Livingston
scope
man
do the
raised
work.
his voice. Yeah, it's super cool, man. 1,100 yard rangefinder built into it, so it's just fantastic. I'm really looking forward to
Cole is offended by
getting out with
something.
it.
Do you
Yeah,
do you
not
want to hear?
happy camper.
Does anybody want to hear my thoughts on your prepper surveillance system?
Sure.
idea?
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
it-
Go right
it-
ahead.
It does indeed piggyback a lot off of what somebody else said. The reason I pinned Southern Tier Preppers comment about the Wi-Fi network is because, if you have like an internet router and you have like a Jackery or an Opus or like some sort of solar battery bank thing.
Mhm.
What you can do is just because the power's out, you have your local network that your router and all your stuff works on. You can plug your router into that and still make your Ring cameras, your smart lights, whatever, all this nonsense you have can still work as long as they have in the case of the cameras. I have so many cameras around my property. It's unbelievable. I plotted out specifically every position you could fucking approach my house, and there's a camera pointed at it. When I come home for lunch, I get like 13 notifications. I'm like, I know it's me. Like, point being, if the all these little blink cameras I got from Amazon, they run off batteries.
Yeah.
There are such a thing as rechargeable batteries. Again, with the solar power bank, you can keep a system like this running without power. And here's another crazy thing you can do. You could take this system mobile, take your Wi-Fi router, your little Opus generator thing, and your wireless cameras and your cell phone. And as long as you stay within Wi-Fi range, your system can work.
Yeah. Outside of the home. Great idea, Livingston, man.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Fantastic. That's outside of the box thinking, man.
Yeah, I have a closed network. I have a closed network for all my cameras on. So if the internet goes out, they're still working and functioning, and I can access them.
Yep.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And
so any electronics, I guess point being is that some of these systems are modular. If you, I guess, think outside the box, that's the only way I know. But also as have redundancy for them. If they rely on electricity, you're going to need a supply of that you can generate yourself. Make your these, because a surveillance system can be used offensively, but honestly, it's a defensive measure at first. It's an intel gathering thing. It would be unacceptable for it to fail. It's kind of a first line thing. So make sure, like any of these electronic systems we're all talking about, you have to recharge your drone batteries. You have to have a way to view the footage you're getting from it. All this stuff, everything we said relies on a independent source of electricity.
Right.
Paul Conroy Sr. says you can also take some of the cheap panels from the stake lights and tie them into the batteries and the cameras to help keep them charged. That's a great idea. I know some of the older blink cameras actually have a USB in the back where you can actually hook a solar panel to them to help recharge the rechargeable batteries you put inside of them. And Livingston, man, I did make the jump to rechargeable batteries for all my camera systems.
Same here.
It's important to know
they have
that
like these AA and AAA batteries with a USB port in it. And
correct.
That's
correct.
Crazy. That's awesome.
And they recommend that you use lithium ion batteries in these things only because they're high drain devices. So you go on to Amazon, find yourself your favorite lithium ion rechargeable battery, and you can run these camera systems without constantly having to buy those expensive batteries.
Right.
Yep. Exactly.
They can also, with a little more creative function, if you have the USB port, you can power them directly, but you need like hubs and long cables and shit. Again, do whatever you want with your setup. But you have to customize it for your own needs. There's a
Yep. Or you can buy the little solar panels that have USB-C on them that plugs into the camera and mount the panel. Pointed to the sun.
They're even very.
What a time to be alive, folks! Go on Amazon. This shit's cheap too. Talk to me
now, maybe not.
I'm telling you, talk to me 10 years ago, and I would have thought everything that we have would have been only shit rich people had.
Yep.
No, true.
Flat screen televisions for one. All right, I'm not. I dare say, with all due respect, that I think the youngest one on this panel. 40. Yeah, I'm 40. I'm 42.
I believe
nobody else has to say anything, but am I the youngest one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Our family's first color television was 13 inches big. Cost like $500, dude. Like,
oh yeah.
I'm sitting here in front of an what is it, Mike? 84 inches.
I don't know. It's humongous.
Well, remember those camping TVs? They had the rabbit ears and the big battery pack.
Yeah, it wrapped the tinfoil around it to make it work.
The radio on one side.
Portable one, and now your phone can like play CNN from England.
Yeah, and it streams it all in 8K.
You get to watch this extravaganza right here through the air.
That's right. Yes. It's just we're just flying through the universe.
I'm telling you, The
Go ahead.
last cable left. The last cable left is the power cord. As soon as we figure out a way to make wireless power, I feel it'll be something like
they've
It's
had wireless
already-
power for generations.
induction and induction
Power
and stuff like
over
that.
PPE. Yeah. Power over network cables. All of that mess. It's already out
But
there.
but you said the word cable.
No, there is no cable.
I want full wireless power.
Yeah,
I feel like it
not
would be
quite
something-
Elon Musk, but it's there. It's there. I mean, you can wirelessly charge your cell phones nowadays. You can wirelessly charge your earbuds, anything like that. You just sit them on the little pad and it charges them. You only have to be within so many inches of the pad for it to actually charge some things.
Nikola Tesla, bro. Everybody gives Edison credit. He was just a punk.
Tesla got
leech.
ripped off
He said I
by
invented
a
the shit.
shrewd businessman.
He said I
Yes.
did it. He didn't.
I guess the next biggest question of the evening is your SHTF comms, your networking capabilities.
Damn it! I won another. I got another $10. I won $20 off your topics. You were way too predictable with this one. I knew he was gonna say some shit about secure comms. I'm gonna blow up smoke signals. I don't give
security
a fuck.
and
You can smell
comms.
my cloud of weed smoke. You're gonna know where the fuck I'm at.
They might come over to party
see
with
me,
you
dog.
at that
That's
point.
right. That's right. Everybody to the Livingston man's house. It's 420
Seriously,
over
if,
there.
If I'm not going to be at home in the apocalypse, I want to be in Vegas. I'll be like, I know where the gun stores are. I'll just buy one and be like, all right, let's find the bar.
That's
Talking
it.
about Nevada, that's a free state too, right there.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, they just shoot machine guns. So you go to Vegas, they're like, oh, the rules are just kind of not a thing here. We selectively enforce the machine guns. How much money you got? Oh, $1,000. Come shoot the M60, bro. It's all good.
Yep.
I love
We
that.
can
There's
do
a
that.
shooting
Fire
range up
too.
there.
You can
There's
only
a
real
shooting
shoot
range
America.
up there with an MG42.
Utah needs to do better. Like you're right there, but like you don't have that. You don't got that Vegas attitude, bro. Like could have done so much better.
Yep. You can do that in
Secure
Ohio.
comms. Yeah.
Well,
so
not
I said,
secure comms, but comms. What are your SHTF comms? Secure comms. I don't think they exist anymore, Livingston man. With all the government technology and everything else, there's no comms are secure comms.
of all the cool
Right.
electronic shit we talked about, don't get those electric door locks. Like don't get those. That's
Electric
bad.
door locks.
I'll like hack your shit. They will. North
Oh,
Korea
the
just unlock
Bluetooth
everybody's
ones?
door.
Yeah,
like-
yeah.
That's really
Oh,
cool,
no.
but like that's like now that's a little too much. That's an invasion of privacy. Talking about
Absolutely.
let me just upload my fucking locks to my house to the cloud. Like they don't steal our healthcare data and shit all day with the cyber
No,
attack.
I got
Not-
one even
my
better
house.
for you, Lou. We had a windstorm out here in Texas, loses power if you say the word win, right?
Yeah.
So we were out for like 5 hours, and my wife and I were like, well, somebody said, the restaurant is open on the other side of town. So we went there to have a beer, came back, power was on it. Somebody in the neighborhood Facebook group, does anyone know a locksmith? And we're like, yeah, what's going on? Well, apparently he had all his locks
Oh,
were these electronic Bluetooth, and the Wi-Fi went out, and he's like, oh, well, my Wi-Fi is still down and I can't get into my house. And someone said, use the key. And they never got a reply. And that same guy goes, you do have a key, don't you? In all caps. He had no key backup for an electronic lock.
wow.
So when it went down, guess what? Now he can't get in his own house. I was sitting there going, man, you're so smart, you're stupid, bud.
Yeah. You outsmarted yourself, friend.
Yeah, he did. They were like, jump the fence, use the key in the back lock. Oh, I put one there too.
Wait a minute. You drinking OD?
The Livingston man is indeed
I can't
on
see.
his.
No,
he's on
actually,
his 40
this is
ounces to
piss
freedom.
that I've just been hoarding in this bottle.
I haven't seen
That's
a
terrible.
40
I was
ounce
waiting for
OD
that.
in
It
probably
tastes about the
30
same.
years.
Bro, I walk in the local
Oh,
beverage
man.
distributor and I walk straight. I got like the whole
Ivor,
crowd
good to see
clapped.
you.
I bought 2 of them, and then I
Oh,
was like,
that-
wait a second, I don't need 2 of these. And I put it back. But yeah, we be smashing the OE trend. I'm gangster, son. I'm from
Yeah,
back in
okay,
the
son.
day, bro.
I
I'm
see
from
up
back
there.
in the day.
Did you walk into the bodega and get you some eat? Come on, son.
Sure did. And you know what? You know what
sure
pains
did.
me is I forgot to tell him to put it in a paper bag for me. just so I
Oh,
could be like,
yeah.
That's
"Yeah,
what's
son."
missing.
Party
That's
foul.
why I was
Party
like,
foul.
wait a minute. That's OD. I ain't seen one of them in 30 years.
They had them. They were serving them up in New York in a plastic stadium bottle, and they gave you 2 extra ounces to account for the shame brought upon it by drinking the
Shame.
It was like I felt like I was drinking a sports drink, like like let me hydrate quick.
Yeah, drink it like
They put
Gatorade.
it,
Livingston.
they put it back in the traditional glass 40, so we stay running.
Well,
out.
at least
not
you won't
plastic,
set
yeah.
yourself on fire with that like you would with like 151 rum.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
And it is a blue flame. It's really
Listen,
cool.
I got demons, but I don't fight them with that shit. Okay, that's too much. Like
SHTF comms. I know Trent is he's a ham radio guy. He's got his ham radios already. He's ready to go. He's ready to go. He knows his frequencies. He knows who he's calling, and he knows how to get a hold of them. And those people know the frequencies and know when to turn the radios on and when to be listening. Folks out there, you have to create yourself a comms plan and a no comms plan for when those things don't work anymore. So not only do you need a plan to have communications, you need a plan for when you don't have communications. And as Trent knows, and a lot of other people know, those radios are not very easy to figure out. They are complicated. And as you get into bigger radios where you can reach much further, they get even more complicated. Direct comms, if we're talking long distance, Eric M1RV, thank you so much, my friend. It does indeed work.
It does.
It does. Thank you. Long distance communications, you are looking for HF communications, which is high frequency ham radio. Ham radio is going to go direct person to person, no middleman, no repeaters. You hear a lot of talk about repeaters. You got to access the repeaters. You need to get to the repeaters. Newsflash, folks, when the power goes out, most of those repeaters don't work anymore. There's only a handful of them that run on generators, and those will be taken over by emergency responders.
Yep.
So the likelihood of you accessing one of these repeater networks when SHTF, slim to none. And if you know anything about radio comms, you have to have like a pass key to get in there, and you need to know the offset frequencies to be able to receive and send. And it's not an easy thing to do. They're going to take these things over. So SHTF, if you're basing everything on repeaters, you're going to have to set your own up, guys. You can't count on anybody else's.
I had met a group of the guys from one of the veterans group here. We had taken the ladies out for pre-New Year's, and it turns out I've known this guy for years, and he's like, I got my ham radio license. I don't know how the conversation came up, and he said, yeah, there's 3 of us out here, and we set up about 7 repeaters around the city.
That's fantastic.
With little solar panels.
Yeah, it doesn't take a lot.
He said they're not like, we can't be transmitting repeatedly, but they can. So now he convinced the whole table. So now everybody's ordering the Baofangs or variations of it, and but keep in mind, if the radio is not an option, you can do some old school spycraft. Like, hey, go check the second bench on the third baseball field.
Yes.
For a mark
Yes,
behind the bench. And, 1 chalk mark means all safe, 2 means so-and-so was seen. And, it's almost like the Paul Revere, but in the modern day. You can use scheduled walk-bys to convey information and not even be face-to-face.
That's right. And, I'm currently working on a HF radio because there's those.
Stanford hits the fan radio.
Yeah, there's other
High
folks
frequency.
in other states I need to talk to.
I know what it stands for.
So Scott Smith had asked GMRS versus FRS. FRS is going to be super localized. We're talking line of sight kind of distance, Scott. GMRS, you can get a little bit more power behind, but it also requires licensing now. GMRS frequencies are now licensing. You don't have to take a test for GMRS license. I believe it's $35 for 10 years.
Yep.
And it covers your entire family, your extended family, everybody in your household now has a GMRS license. GMRS is a little, probably, what would you say, 250 miles, Pete?
Yeah,
About that, with
Somewhere
a
around
powerful
with
enough
the
radio
good
and
weather and etc. Yeah.
yeah.
Your typical, like, you're going to go on Amazon, you're going to look up like walkie talkies, and you're going to get these FRS/GMRS radios. And what those end up boiling down to is there are certain channels that are FRS. That's family radio service. That's meant for you and your close peeps to be using out on the farm. Like, hey, where are you? I'm cleaning the horse stall type of shit.
Yep.
Then GMRS, which I'm not quite sure what it stands for, something radio service, general something.
General
radio
mobile
service.
radio service.
General mobile
Thank
radio
you.
service. Yeah.
Hey, I was 3 out of 4 on that one. I'm
Yeah,
You were
not
good. You were good. man.
those they broadcast transmit at a higher power
Yes.
and can push further. Your typical your Midlands or Motorola walkie talkies, if you will, where you're going to see them talking about 38-mile range. To optimize and get that, you're going to want this like license. These guys are talking about.
No, actually, you can get that.
As
You can
a
get that
radio,
from
as a
top
walkie-talkie
to a
user,
valley.
you don't need
extra power for that.
The
It's
FBI
all
ain't
based
show
on
up
line of
'cause I was
sight.
on channel 13. You know what I'm saying?
All based
Like,
on line of sight. If you
and
want
if
to
you're
practice with a radio, get your walkie-talkies and practice with those. Practice your etiquette on those. You can get 36 miles range, but height is might. If you're in a fire tower on a hill, I can get 36 miles range with a little shitty walkie-talkie, no problem. 5 watts of power. You can talk around the world on 1 watt of power.
And keep in
across
mind,
water, stuff like this, flat line of sight, as
Yeah.
Mike called it.
but you guys can also use that while you're mobile on the ground. So if
Absolutely.
when we drove, when my son got based back in the U.S., they came here. They stayed with us for a bit, and then we convoyed with them. And 2 of us had FRS and 2 had Baofangs, where I put the FRS channels on there and the GMRS, and we were able to talk back and forth across radio types all the way to the base. My son asked me to pick up a Baofeng for him and the wife, and have the local stations programmed in for him. So that's my next project. But
So
folks, you can get a GMRS cheap and just not a GMRS, an FRS, and just
practice with it.
Or-
see how far
and
you can get it.
Discipline on the radios is key. Like, there's
Yes.
always that guy who talks too fucking much in the earpiece, and you're like, bro, let go of the microphone.
The radios are typically, ham radio is known as a gentleman's radio. There's definitely some things to follow. There's rules and regulations and different power requirements for different frequencies. You can overblow a frequency with too much power, and nobody's going to hear you anyway. Even though you can hear yourself loud and clear, nobody else is going to pick you up because you're just ruining it, or you're all up in the microphone and you're destroying your signal that way. There's a couple different ways to screw
your
things up.
freaking mariachi music blasting in the background. You want to know about radio discipline in, like, let's call it these kids these days? You play online video games, anybody? You ever hear the nonsense? You ever hear the nonsense that goes on in the voice chat? And you're like, wow, no comms discipline here whatsoever. There's like some Hispanic mother yelling at 8 children in the background. There's some guy who's like rapping in the chat for some reason. There's like us trying to communicate and pull off some tactical shit, as well as someone who is just banging like killer West Coast beats. And all of this comes together to make this beautiful sound of like, that's going to be your real world comms. Go ahead, sell common folk.
Exactly.
Sell common folk Baofeng radios. Where do you see the spam coming out of this motherfucker, bro?
Or if you really know what you're doing, you can have one that you can hear everything.
And
get rickrolled.
That goes back to the surveillance thing. Is you could just sit there and use the scan function. And just, that was interesting. Let me go back to that frequency. What were they saying? And take notes.
Exactly.
That's a big one.
You can always just take one and set it up as a scanner, and it scans the frequencies.
That's exactly. Pete, I want to thank you for bringing it all together for us. That was my intention when I set these topics out. That it all comes together because your comms and your surveillance are actually one in the same. You can use your
that
comms
gives you a
as
little bit of a lifeline too. Is you can just like pull up some frequency and broadcast on it, and like hope that somebody scanning is going to hear it. Like, and for better or worse. And also, even if you want to be called let's call it a quote, like a nefarious actor, you can just sit there and
listen.
lurk, just listen. They don't know you're there.
Well, during Hurricane Harvey, right? Because a lot of the cell towers went down because of the power and the water. And I gave my son, my sons are scouts, so I'm like, here's the dug up the FRS radios. I'd already checked the batteries. I'm like, all right, if you guys are gonna walk the neighborhood, check on your friends. Everyone takes one of these. And it was only the 4 of us and 2 of their buddies who were also the Cub Scout group. And they were older by now. These were teenagers, but it was only my scouts had them. Nobody else. I said, guys, scan the channels, and they went through, and I told everyone, meet at my house in 10 minutes, and all the boys came. They were like, no, sir, there's nobody on the radio right now. So it could go the other way. People are so ignorant of this now because they're so spoiled by their cell phones. And to Lou's point, he's right. If one of these knuckleheads gets a radio, he's going to sit on the mic, right?
Yeah.
But I honestly think a lot of them are just going to freak out and not know what to do.
They will.
Well, and
I agree.
let's think of more of disciplined actors who could actually just glean information from once they scan into you too. Like I can scan, but so can everybody else, man.
Absolutely.
Talk about freedom of speech. You better be careful what you say.
Well,
speaking in codes, you need codes so that
got it.
We need codes, or otherwise you can't just be like, "I'll meet you at Extra Bar at 11:30 on today. I'm gonna bring this particular thing." Oh, okay, bro. Yeah. You and everybody else showing up on that shit.
Yeah,
that's right.
Well, a couple of things the guard guys used to do. You identify, for instance, you have your different frequencies amongst your team. You say, okay, this frequency.
Words, yeah.
Right. So channel A, there's no channel A on the radio, but channel A is, I don't know, GMRS2.
Yep.
Right. Channel B is MERS.
Yep.
Channel 3 is FRS7. And everybody in your group, the 4 of us would know that. So we're talking and somebody squawks in and I go, all right, everybody go to channel Delta. He's not going to know what the hell channel. Let him scan. Eventually he might find it.
Yep.
But we can switch and we know what channel Delta is. 126.8. But they're not going to know. And you can do this even with the little FRS radios.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
There's a word Mike uses all the time too. Contingency. You have to know what to do, and you and your network have to know what to do when this happens. Because some dickhead key in the mic in your fucking comms.
Yep.
It could happen. Like I said, you can scan. I can scan. Who's going to be cool about it?
But also setting up those meet points where, hypothetically, using the 4 of us, we have an agreement. Hey, there's the coffee shop in the middle of town. We can either check in once a day at noon, because that's technically a comms. We go and meet each other.
Right.
Or if you need a message, find the second dumpster behind the building.
Right.
And behind the left wheel, there's the little thing where the forklift goes, and I'm going to put a note in there, and it'll be.
That's right. And when you're done reading it, you burn that mofo.
Yeah, you pick it up and away with it.
Or eat it.
Yeah. This note is also
Put
written
it in the
on
porta potty.
Big League Chew.
Yeah, exactly. But folks, that's critical. To have a no comms plan, because again, these are electronic devices.
Yep.
And if they go down, now what?
They can fail.
Yeah. That's why you have to have your no comms plan.
Wait, does that work on electronics too?
Yeah. I hope not. Because if it does, my laptop's about to shut down.
See, he's doing
Trent. When you did that, we gained a Rumble subscriber.
Right on. Appreciate all the viewers on Rumble.
We got
Thank you so much.
We have
for being
100
here.
going on. We have 90 on if these stats are accurate. We have 90 on YouTube, 10 on Rumble. Hello, what's up, Rumble people?
Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us this evening, the 4 Horsemen podcast.
It's actually pretty tame by my standards. I'm barely hanging in there. I got a story
comms and what was our other topic for tonight? We started with surveillance. That's
Yeah.
right.
How you
Your
gonna keep tabs?
preparedness,
How you gonna see farther
surveillance,
than?
and your preparedness communication. What's
How you
another
gonna
one?
zoom out? You know, you gotta be able to
Yeah,
zoom
you
out,
gotta.
see what's going on around you.
Count Trumpula says, "Watch the sun. It has a bone to pick with the sketchies of Earth." Yep, it sure does,
Whatever.
man. The,
But
the
you know
sun,
what?
the sun is not happy with us, and
No.
Just love
when
your
it
name,
decides
though.
that we don't get to have power anymore, it's all going to disappear.
The sun gonna just turn itself off one day, about 1 billion years or so. It's projected to, you know, just
No, it's more like the coronal mass ejection that takes down our shitty power grids.
Yep, exactly. Of
not
course, the guys that
possible.
walked across the border and they just decide to take it out with the ammo they stole out of the National Guard base, along with the
Yeah,
3
yeah.
Humvees.
Yo, so these guys crossed the border. They shot out the sun, rendered all the
Shut up,
jackeries.
this.
Rendered all the jackeries obsolete. Like, damn, that's some Matrix level shit, dude. It's an insurgency.
I'll tell you what, I don't know if you guys saw earlier, the ATF is now investigating the cause of the Palisade fire.
Oh, no kidding.
Now think about that. Why the
Huh.
hell is the ATF and not like
Yeah,
Los
it
Angeles
would have
Fire
to
Rescue?
deal with explosives at that juncture, wouldn't it? Pete?
Something
Which
incendiary.
also gets covered incendiaries. Yeah, they're kind of lumped into the same category. They arrested some dude walking around with a blowtorch. People screaming Black Rock. Hard not
knows?
to go there. And then
knows?
there's this whole like theory about the high speed rail supposed to go through there. I'm like, was that
Yep.
necessary? Like,
Yeah, I've
and
heard them
what's
all,
funny
man.
is they burnt down all the rich people's houses. That's unprecedented. I'm like, damn,
They did.
stuck it to them, huh? Shit, they don't
Yeah.
want to pay taxes. Fine.
they're trying to
Building
get
a
rid of the
railroad through your
evidence.
yard, bro.
Yeah, they're
There's
trying
a
to get rid
freeway
of the evidence.
running through the yard. Yeah. Tom Petty tells it like it was, bro.
It's crazy,
ones
man.
get
It's
it.
crazy. And I think that's how we round out this evening is discussion on the random topics of the week, of the month. I mean, it's been a while since we've been together, guys. There's been a lot of stuff going on since the 4 Horsemen last met.
I did not have Los Angeles setting itself on fire, whatever the hell just happened there.
Yeah, on the bingo card?
On my
No, me
bingo
either.
card at all.
No.
Well, no, my bingo
Got you.
card
It
is-
stopped everybody. You know, it got everybody's attention off that Diddy shit, off that, Donald Trump
Ain't no
shit,
doubt
off
about
that, them drones flying around. Nobody knew what they were. Yeah,
What
forgot
happened
about
to the
that shit real
drones?
quick.
Where'd
They're
they
still,
go?
listen, they're
They
still
started the
still
fires and they went away.
They're
Trent.
still
Wow.
there.
So the
still there.
German military just finally said, screw NATO, since you guys aren't doing anything. The Germans decided they're going to shoot down drones on site if they cannot
Fuck
squawk them.
Oh,
I'm telling
snap.
you.
So
That's
they're,
what's up.
they're,
Now we're
they've
going to
been
find out
sending
what
up
they really are.
helicopters with those little, they're not little, those anti-aircraft missiles that said just going to start knocking them out of the air.
Well,
They
You know
think
what?
it's the
Somebody-
Russians over there, though.
Somebody's got to be that anti-hero. Like, I've been saying it for years. Like, listen, you see a Sasquatch, bust a shot, dude. Let's fucking
Verify.
solve this mystery. Okay, I'm sorry I had to be the guy, but if their logic's correct, then if there's one Sasquatch, there's mad Sasquatch. So you know what?
He came from
fucking-
somewhere.
History
Yeah.
will judge me differently.
Unless they all
interesting,
come
man,
out
the
and
way-
chase you around, then that could
The
be
way the
bad.
world's going.
You're talking a new, like, this is the Wounded Knee Massacre all over again. I'm putting them indigenous Sasquatch the fuck down, Pete. I'm done. Don't come at me.
Oh shit! Big Chase says there's 200,000 homeless missing in L.A. Wow.
They're making them fight fires, bro. That's where they
Wow.
went.
Hmm.
Inmates, they got inmates fighting fires. You know why? Because it's way cheaper. That's why.
Yeah.
And they're doing a good job. And then what they'll do is they'll put in this service, put their lives on the line, work 48-hour shifts fighting the fires to save the rich people. And then what they'll do, they'll deny them parole so they can make them do it again next year. Prophecy.
Hey, you know what? It's prison system's about recidivism. Each inmate, $1 million to that company that's running the private prison.
That's
Yeah.
right.
It's
When
not
it's
about
sold to them,
rehabilitating
is that we're going to rehabilitate you and decide and get you in the actual fire service, but then they don't, because then they'd have to pay them like union wages and like, nah.
Yeah.
So instead,
can't be paying them people real money.
and let me be, when I said the word inmates, they are not letting dangerous criminals go fight fires. These are like
Yeah.
minimum security. It's like DWI guys,
Yeah.
stuff like this.
Big time.
The reason, who cares why they're in jail, but these guys are going out and putting in service, man. I ain't never served
No,
my
but,
country at the
I tell you what,
capacity of what
props,
this is.
props to anybody who's out there fighting the fires, whether you're a homeowner, a firefighter, an inmate. I don't care if you're out there putting the work in. God
They
bless
should
you,
get credit for it.
and I hope nothing but the best. I hope you beat it. I hope you beat it.
Now-
Because the world needs it.
Absolutely.
What the world needs is a real reckoning. We need to actually put political beliefs and what the bros at the pub might think of your position on topics, but look at what's going on around you, because you can either be a scientific person or you can be a religious person. And all of you both can be reconciled in the fact that if you follow me on Facebook, I said today, the apocalypse creeps in really slow. It's like you sit back on social media and you watch these disasters unfold on your news feed, and they keep getting closer and closer to home until it's you who's taking the picture. This is what it is.
Yeah.
Today,
You're
right now,
absolutely right.
look at America and look at the world, and it will only be until what? Tomorrow, next week, couple months from now, it's going to be you taking that fucking picture. You getting your picture took, packing your shit and being out because something crazy happened. It's already happening. It's creeping in slow. You don't notice it because it's not a big thunderclap like everybody thinks it's going to be like apocalypse. Oh, here we go. No, we're already, it's occurring.
Could take 2 or 3
now.
days. Yeah.
It's occurring now. The slow decline,
To Livingston Man's point, the Greeks, the Romans, the Persians, they can point and say, oh, well, the barbarians attacked Rome on this date, or the Athens fell on this date. But in reality, it was years before their outer defenses failed, and then the provinces got taken over by whatever enemy it was, and slowly it made its way in. Though, most of those failures, those collapsed empires, so to say, also fell into degeneracy and lack of cohesion. The people were not united. They became degenerate. They became selfish and awful. And then it all just kind of, so I can't disagree with what Lou said. It could be a big incident, but there'll be so many things before it that get to that point.
Yep. Slow burn.
I agree. I think the weather events are your most likely SHTF scenario, 100%. Everybody's going to experience some extreme weather. It's just a matter of how extreme it's going to be in your neck of the woods. So I think those are the most likely things for folks to prepare for initially, and then broaden your horizons from there, man. Whatever you personally feel is what you need to prepare for, then that's what you should prepare for.
Yeah.
I've lived in New York State in about a 10-mile radius my entire life, and there was wildfires in New York State. I saw the sky turn red with smoke. I could smell wildfires in Canada burning. Now, whether you want to, I know climate change is a fucking hot topic with a lot of y'all, so I would call it weather wrong. Can we agree on weather wrong? Like everybody points out, they look at the clouds in the sky, they say it didn't look like that when I was a kid. There wasn't weather like this when we was a kids. Whatever's the case, the extreme weather events are caused by the weather is not the same. To agree with Mike, a weather event is your main SHTF priority because they can strike and be very personal. Only your town could be affected by one. Yep. In terms of say tornadoes and things like this. Only you literally were affected by this, and we all get to sit back and throw thoughts and prayers out on Facebook, but only you, man. You got to live that alone. These big national catastrophes, this big grid down thing, this SHTF, it's going to strike home first before it strikes all of us, and that's the reality. Everybody left. See, they left. They couldn't agree with it. I said climate change. I lost half the panel. Fuck.
I think Cole needed to go out.
They had to compose themselves. I said climate change. It was all pissed off.
You said climate change, and I had to let the dog out.
Yeah, he had to take a shit.
Exactly.
ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah,
though I am hosting this stream, it's actually Mike's show tonight.
that's right. That's right. Thank you very much, Livingston man, for doing all the ditty for me today. Really appreciate it, bro. I've been indisposed. I've been super duper busy, and I got home about 10 minutes before this podcast started. So I really appreciate you holding it down and getting everything together.
I actually have it pretty easy. I have like links and like shit saved. It's actually like tick, 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 tick.
Yeah, it's non-stop
Folks,
action.
if you don't mind, folks, smash that like button.
Yeah, greatly appreciate it.
on
Helps with the
Rumble
algorithm.
and YouTube, and share this out. Let other people know that there are the 4 horsemen living now before the
That's right.
apocalypse.
Yep.
So that'd be me and Trent kind of had there was a competition about who would be Death and who wouldn't be. I voted for Trent, but I was given it anyway. Pete's War, Mike is Famine because he's peddling that freeze-dried falafel.
It's true. It's good for you.
Awful.
Fried
That's what I call it.
falafel.
Yeah, you want to survive that apocalypse, you better get you some.
Yep.
Get you some freeze-dried stuff, bro. It's
I'm-
like
I'm
ramen
just-
noodles,
Make,
but like
make some hardtack at the house.
that's
yeah,
just
that works
ramen
too.
noodles for white people, bro. It's that
Ramen noodles for white- I don't even know what that means.
Some of the things.
Oh man,
It's
we're
incredible.
gonna get run off. Yeah, Trent covered his eyes. you
Yeah,
know.
thanks,
kill
Trent.
him off, Trent.
The joke is dead.
Oh,
He's no more
man.
dead.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank
Oh,
you for
God.
joining us tonight on the 4 Horsemen podcast. We
Nice,
really
you got like 3
appreciate
of
you
them.
being here.
Fuckers, do it again.
If you haven't subscribed to the Roaming Prepper right here below me, you should totally go subscribe to the Roaming Prepper channel. Vision, where is he? He's over here. Vision Preparedness, diagonally down below. He's wearing the Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival hoodie this evening. Thank you. I got my Vision
Trent's actually a
Preparedness
Livingston
hat
man.
on.
I'm actually Trent.
Yeah, and that's right. Well, Trent does play guitar for us, and Livingston man
I
fakes
do.
it.
Yes.
And obviously, right here, the
Here.
Livingston man himself. Please make sure you are subscribed to everybody's channel here. This is how the community grows. This is how the network grows. This is how we
Yes.
all come up together. And there's a bunch of good channels in the chat
In the
as
chat.
well. So
Yes.
make sure you check those channels out as well.
Everybody subscribe to
Oh
everybody,
man,
man.
yeah, it's awesome. The Trout Slayer is in here. Let's see who else is it. Devil Dog Prepper is in here. There's that Vision Preparedness guy. He's in the chat too. And the Roaming Prepper, all up in the chat. Casey Little Owl, gotta check her out.
Hey,
So many
Steve.
great channels. I really appreciate y'all for being here, and thank you so much for the support. Oh yeah, and not to forget Independent Many United, another great channel.
Yes.
The Prepping
Yes.
Mantis, the Watchman. Just check them all out, man. They're so worth it. Worth your time, worth the effort, worth the watch. Rip Curl Readiness. Appreciate you, my
Hey,
friend.
Rip.
Yes.
Mike,
y'all
I'm gonna
stay safe.
gamble. I'm gonna try to play the music again. I think
You're
I
gonna do
fixed
it? All right.
I think I fixed it.
Okay, cool. So y'all
Right,
stay
let's-
safe. Be good, and we will catch you on the next 4 Horsemen podcast. I don't know whose channel it will be on, so that's why you have to subscribe
figure
to
it out.
everybody here, because we could be rocking with the Old English with Livingston man. We could be rocking the Ohio State Cup. We could be kicking it in Texas with the Roaming Prepper. You never know where we're gonna be, so make sure you subscribe to everybody. We appreciate you being here, Livingston man. Take us out of here.
All right, boss. It won't do it. Rumble, I just want to tell you that I hate your fucking platform. And on that note, fix your shit, Rumble. Can I get a 1 in the chat? Kill him off, Vision. We out of here. Peace.
Peace.
Later.